Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey Through GL podcast. I'm your host, Thomas. Welcome to the fifth week. Welcome to the second week of Love Senior. And welcome to the week of, oh my God, I am working way too many hours in 1 week. God help me, please. If you don't understand that, then you've never worked in retail, and you've especially never worked in retail in the Midwest in the United States. Obviously, this podcast does not like monetize yet, so I do obviously have a job, and this is just kind of something that I'm doing for fun right now, not really looking to make money off of it. And I'm doing a lot of closing shifts because I'm 17. The most amount of hours that I can work is 8 hours, and I work at a small little retail joint called Fleet Farm, which is pretty popular in the Midwest. And I'm doing a lot of closing shifts, 8 hours from 1:30 to 9:30, or on Sundays noon to 8. It's a lot. I'm working 6 days in a row. Almost all of them are closing. Almost all of them are 8 hours. So it's really, really long. So for the rewatching, I have to get it done in the morning. And I promised myself that I would spread the rewatch very, spread out throughout the week, but I haven't been. And you'll understand what I mean by that with Love Senior, which is the series of this week. And compared to previous episodes, I'm actually going to start with the series review and work my way backwards because I've got a lot of stuff to talk about with Love Senior. And don't worry, there won't be many GLs in which they'll be separated throughout 2 weeks. I'm only doing GLs that are over 12 episodes long. Those are the ones that I'll be doing multiple weeks of. So there are only 4 GLs that qualify for that. Love Senior, The Loyal Pin, Only You, and Somewhere Somehow. Somewhere Somehow is 13 episodes long, Only You is 14. Love Senior was 15, counting the special episodes, and The Loyal Pin is 16 episodes long. If I did not count the special episodes for Love Senior, then Love Senior would have only been 10 episodes long. But I'm always going to count special episodes regardless of which series it is, no matter how long the special episodes came out after the base series ended, which Love Senior ended around early 2024, probably around late January, very early February ish, considering that it came out in November of 2023, and the special episodes for Love Senior came out very late 2024 into early 2025. But I'm still counting them because they are Love Senior. They continue the story. It's the same characters. It's all the same. I'm counting them. And that will be the same for the Denied Love special episodes when I get to Denied Love. The Love Senior only has, well, okay, I said that wrong. Love Senior has the most amount of special episodes out of any GL. The only GLs that have special episodes are Love Senior, Denied Love, Love Design, Poisonous Love, and Clarabelle, sort of. Love Design has 5 special episodes, Denied Love has 2, Poisonous Love has 1, Love Design has 2, and Clarabelle has special clips. They're not episodes, they're like 2 to 3 minute long product advertisements that are on YouTube. So I'm not going to be counting those when I rewatch Clarabelle. I'm just going to be doing the 8 episodes. I'm not going to be counting the special clips. If they were special episodes themselves, then I would have counted them, but they're not. So I'm not going to be counting them. But we are on the second week of Love Senior. It was honestly a big drag to get through. Compared to part one was 6 episodes, and this one, part two, was 9 episodes. It was the remaining 4 from the base series plus the 5 special episodes. And I have got a ton to talk about. This is probably going to be a pretty long Love Senior segment. I finished watching the 9 episodes on Wednesday. So I could have easily fit in so much more. I could have even gotten started on the next series before recording this episode, but I just chose not to. And truthfully, I should have probably spread out the rewatching of the last episodes more throughout the week because it was a little hard to remember, like today, coming back home from work, since my shift got done at 8 o'clock p.m. and I'm recording this right now at 10:30 p.m. Coming back from Fleet Farm to my home, I listened to the OST of the series, which I will get to later. like on repeat so much because I just had to get my mind in Love Senior mode to record this episode, and I have got a ton of stuff to talk about. It is going to take a while. But with that said, the first part of Love Senior is my overall rating of the series. Now, I did a rating for the base series and I have a rating for the special episodes. They are separate. And then I've combined those to give my rating for the series as an overall. I averaged out the two scores, and the average is more or less what I would actually give the series overall. Probably a tad bit low, but since I am combining the scores for the base series and the special episodes, that's what I'm going to go with. So, my score for Love Senior, the base series, Nung Song Sam, giving it a 6.73 out of 10. My score for the Love Senior special episodes, Nung Song Sam, giving it an 8.68 out of 10. And now, here it is. All 15 episodes of Love Senior. I spent the last 2 weeks rewatching all of Love Senior, the base series and the special episodes. The first time I watched it, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Second time watching it, Nung Song Sam, giving Love Senior overall a 7.71 out of 10. This is the first series on the rewatch that actually went lower than my original score. And I am really sad about that. I loved Love Senior quite a lot when I first watched it. At the end of 2025, when we were in the drought, I ranked all 40 TGLs that I had seen up to that point, and Love Senior was in my top 10 at the number 8 spot. Actually, no, I think it was it number 8 or was it number 9? It was one of the two. It was either 8 or 9. So it makes me really sad that I'm giving it a 7.71. I gave it like a high 8 the last time that I rated it. So it makes me pretty sad, but I have my reasons. So I have a lot of notes for the episodes. This is going to take a while. If you've seen Love Senior, you'll probably understand quite a lot of this. I have notes for pretty much every episode from episode 7 through 15. I don't have episode 7 just because there was nothing in that episode that was worth noting down. So here we go. Here are my thoughts for Love Senior episodes 8 through 15. Starting with episode 8, this episode really pissed me off. Not because of the ending or how Now and Gyo were acting, but because of how goddamn immature both of them were acting for their age. I get that emotions in young adults are strange and they don't make the right choices, but Now and Gyo refusing to apologize to each other was just not okay for someone their age. And Now going out to drink after Gyo missed their anniversary would have been all right, except that she willingly did it knowing that she was around two individuals that have romantic feelings for her and are, for lack of better words, kind of crazy. And truthfully, up until the moment when Belle tried to kiss Now at the bar, I was kind of thinking that maybe Now and Belle would be better than Now and Gyo, but I 100% do not believe that because nobody who actually loves and cares for another person would try to kiss them when they are passed out drunk, like Belle almost did to Now. And Gyo saying that she was the one who was being childish and didn't it like that just didn't sit right with me because she's very much not. She is just working on a project that she has been planning for a long time with her best friend and now is trying to limit which friends Gyo has. So Gyo has every right to be upset with Now for letting Belle get close to her, and Now should have at least used logical thinking, like at this moment. If Now and Gyo have been dating for one whole year at this point, and only now that they're back in school does Now try to not trust things and start to think that Warang is a problem, that shows insecurity. Also, why couldn't she just ask Warang herself? That's just such an easy solution. Warang doesn't seem to hate Now, but Now is so jealous and possessive that she can't even stand seeing her. Like, I'm getting more interested in Warang and Prong at this point than Now and Gyo. I usually like when episodes have a lot of tension and angst and ones that make me sad or upset. But this episode just, I mean, come on, girls, please just act your age. I don't get it. I also think that what happened at the end with Now and Belle, it's not Now's fault for that, and it's not Belle's fault either. It's Tarn's. But that's something that Gio finds out in later episodes, and it's something that we find out in later episodes too. The reason why I didn't talk about episode 7 before this is that episode just pissed me off so much. I don't get it. Not only does it jump through way too much time, but they just I don't get it. They act completely different in these episodes compared to at the start of the series. This series has the weirdest time jumping that I've ever seen in a TIGL. Probably excluding the 13-year time jumps with an affair, but that's excusable because it doesn't skip through like 6 months in the middle of the series and then another 2 years by the end of it. I don't get it. Regardless of that, episode 9 is the episode that Now and Gil break up. Tarn blackmails Belle using photos that she took after Belle and Now passed out. And Belle, once again, begs Now if she can be the one to love her, even though she's terrified because of what happened. And Now she's interrogating her for answers. And finally, thank God, Now puts down the foot on Tarn. And Tita also tries to help Gio hide from Now, which is good because it shows that she's still a good friend. Now eventually visits Warong to try to clear things up, but other than that, it's really just the same rinse and repeat third act breakup stuff. With Belle, I'm very conflicted on her character at this point in the story because the scene when Now was interrogating her for answers, Belle was in a breakdown crying, but then previously in the episode, she was seen pretty fine and just kind of going about her day. So I wonder when she was sent to those blackmail photos. It's just confusing. I feel like Belle has wicked audacity to continue to ask Now if she can be the one to love her, even after this whole situation happened. And even in the last episode, Belle was still questioning Now if she could be the one to love her. She's so pathetic in the base series. I hate Belle's character in the base series, but I love her in the special episodes. That's that's just the way that her character is, I suppose. Episode 10 I barely got notes for because episode 10 just pissed me off. Like that's it. It's the finale of the base series and it pissed me off more than I could ever even imagine. Like the two notes that I have in here for episode 10, fuck P Pure and fuck Tarn. Fuck how much time passes in this show as well. I hate it so much. Within all of episode 10, it jumps from Now's second year to her third year because now Belle has a jacket and only sophomores, juniors, and seniors have red jackets. Now got her red jacket in episode 7, meaning that between episode 6 and 7 is when like it goes from Now's freshman year to her sophomore year. And then in episode 10, after Gil loses her memory and gets hit, which she's still unconscious at this point, Belle has a jacket and we're in Now's third year. It's so stupid how much time passes in this show. Like you are telling me that Now and Gio have been dating for like minimum at least 6 months because it seemed like they were dating at the end of the first semester of Now's freshman year. And then we were in Now's sophomore year, and Now is still insecure and jealous whenever Gio is close to Warong, even though she knows that they have been friends for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, another year passes and Belle is still crying over Now and begging to be the one to love her. It's so pathetic. I don't like it. I can't stand it. I hate how much time passes in the base series. It pissed me off so much, and that's why I rated it so low. I didn't rate it the lowest that I possibly could have. A 6.73 is still relatively decent because for 10 episodes, over half of the series I did quite like, but it's those last 4 episodes that I just can't deal with. But then the special episodes happen. They're quite different, even though they're the same characters. Episode 11, I'm going to call the special episodes episode 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. 11 gets us back to what works best. Now is being sly and cheeky with Gil. Warong and Prong finally have a green flag relationship, and there's so much teasing in it that you just can't stand it, except that you actually can because it kind of is what makes it work. Now, teasing Gyo is probably one of my favorite things of the base series and the special episodes as well, but that might just be because one of my previous relationships, my partner was quite a lot like how Gyo is. So maybe that's just what attracts me to that trope between Now and Gyo. I'm not like Now at all. I am not that bold, but Gyo is someone that I I can see her being real. I definitely see her being real. She's one of probably my favorite. Oh, I don't know. Um, Shoot, I was going to say that she's one of my favorite bottoms, but I don't even know if I could go quite that far. There are some really good bottoms in TGL. I'm going to be honest with that. And speaking of bottoms, I think that every bottom in a couple for a TGL is is shorter than the top, except for Jing Jing. I think that her and Jan are almost the same height, and I think that's the only one that I can say that for. I think Sonya is a tiny bit shorter than Look Me. I think that Film is a tiny bit shorter than Namtan. I think, well, okay. I'm remembering Enjoy June. I always imagine June as the top and Enjoy as the bottom, but according to their couple name, Enjoy is the top and June is the bottom. So I don't remember which one is taller between them genuinely. I actually don't. Maybe I take that statement back about Jing Jing being the only bottom that's like the same height as the top. I can't remember. There's so many couples in TGL, it gets difficult to remember. But back to Love Senior, episode 11 was really funny. It didn't have a lot of plot in it. It was just kind of getting us more back used to the story and reminding us of what happened, even though personally I would like not to be reminded of what happened. But the last 4 episodes is what really get us going because episode 12 and 13 is the point where I begin to get invested in all couples equally. Warong and Prong have a spice that we've never seen before, and seeing Warong jealous and possessive of Prong was ridiculously attractive. The two of them have elite visual chemistry together, and as for Prong thinking that Tita still has feelings for Warong or that Warong might be losing feelings for her and want to date Tita, personally, I'm conflicted about it because, in Prong's perspective, she probably thinks that Warong and Tita have known each other for years and that they know each other the best, so they would be perfect for each other, and that Prong is so much younger than her sister is. Prong was a freshman when Tita was a junior, but if I were Prong, I would be remembering all of the little moments that I would have had with Warong, and that probably would have put my mind at ease. However, it certainly can't be easy knowing and finding out that your older sister once had a crush on your now girlfriend. And truthfully, I do wish that we saw more of Tita. She's a really great friend to everybody. She wasn't even seen that much in the base series. We see her trying to protect Gil when Warong is kind of not belittling her, but just saying that she needs to remember her place and not get too close to now. That's what happens in the base series. And I don't even know. So, Love Senior is based off of a novel. I don't know if the special episodes are based off of a special novel or not. But if they are, I'm wondering if the author had always planned that Tita used to have a crush on Warong, because before I watched the special episodes for the first time, I never really imagined that. I saw the way that Tita interacted with Warong, and I never thought of it as Tita having a crush on Warong, but maybe she was just really good at hiding it. There was a flashback when we find out that Tita used to have a crush on Warong, and it shows the scene in which Tita sort of questions Warong about whether or not Warong likes Gil or not. And also, there was a scene when it was just, Warong, Tita, Gil, Sui, Lada, and the others sitting around at a picnic table outside on the campus somewhere. And it was just a glance that Tita did over at Warong, and I didn't think anything of it. Not once did I ever think, oh yeah, Tita probably has a crush on Rodong, but just can't say it, or maybe she's too afraid to say it. I didn't think about that at all. It does deepen the plot with the special episodes a little bit, and the special episodes, again, I was just more interested in Warong and Prong than I was with Now and Gyo. Not nearly as much as I was with the base series, but I, you know, I don't know. I did like them equally. I will, like I said that I earlier, I think. Yeah, I liked them all about equally. Wardong and Prong was really quite fun. I like what they did with the hair with Prong and everybody. Who had the most different hair? Probably Tarn. Tarn or Prong. Because in the base series, Tarn was a redhead and she had bangs, but in the special episodes, she was dark brunette and no bangs. And then in the base series for Prong, she was brunette with like some highlights in there, and maybe she also had bangs. I can't remember. But in the special episodes, she had curly hair, all blonde, no bangs. It was very different. I like that look on Prong a lot better than in the base series. The base series really emphasizes her youth and like innocence of mind, so to speak. But the special episodes, truthfully, I have absolutely no idea how long the special episodes take after the base series. It was probably said at some point within the special episodes, but if it was, I actually can't remember. So I'm going to curveball it around somewhere between 3 to 5 years after the base series ends, is when the special episodes take place. I think that's probably the most accurate estimate. I really loved the different couples in the special episodes. And despite a couple that I wanted to happen not happening in the special episodes, it was also really fun to see. And that's what I'm about to talk about right now, because episodes 14 and 15 is when we started to get more of Tarn and Belle. And that is what I call them, the third couple, because Tarn was seen very briefly within this Love Senior special episodes, and she was really only seen interacting with Belle because Tarn was a customer at the cafe that Belle started with Prong. Prong was really into baking after they graduated, and Belle was into art therapy, so they opened a cafe together, and Tarn has been frequenting it, and she's been using it as a coping mechanism for her anxiety and guilt and regret for what happened, which, if that's the case, that is really, really unfortunate. But I'm glad that she has Belle there. Even though Tarn and Belle aren't officially a couple, I think Belle is the safe zone that Tarn needed. And truthfully, it couldn't have been anyone better. Belle was the person that Tarn drugged, and that escalated to Gio getting hit by a car, and Tarn then living with this anxiety, fear, guilt, and regret for so long until she found Belle again. And Belle forgave Tarn, which was the start of her journey to healing. And I love that Belle brought Tarn to Now and Gio's engagement. Tarn needed to get closure with the two of them, and it was a beautiful and wonderful place and moment to do so. The past was in the past, and judging by the time that it happens, it's it's just devastating to me that Tarn has been living with it for so long. And the reason why I say somewhere between 3 to 5 years is because at the time of the special episodes, Belle and Prong have graduated, but at the end of the base series, they were just in their second year. So Tarn has been living with this guilt and engraved regret on her soul for however long it takes place after the base series ends, and she's never had a chance to make it right until now, thanks to Belle. It's so just moving to see, and Belle is the friend and the safe zone that Tarn just needs, and it couldn't have been anyone better. I wasn't sure. I'm thinking back to when I first watched Love Senior, the special episodes as well. I don't remember how I felt about seeing Tarn again, but as the special episodes went on, I could tell that she was just not doing okay. I didn't like her character in the base series, but I would have never wanted her to live with such fear and deep rooted anxiety and guilt on her soul and conscience because that's just not right. She did a bad thing, but she's not a bad person. Nothing can really make someone a bad person. They just will do bad things. And Tarn did a bad thing, and she has atoned for it, but she will probably continue to apologize for it, which is understandable. But I liked seeing her and Belle interact, even if it was very brief and not a whole lot. I really liked it. Um, Moving to the other couples a little bit, let's move back to Warong and Prong for just a moment for these last two episodes, because once we found out that Warong was making the cake, I just instantly knew Warong is such a green flag wanting to make Prong a cake, even having no prior baking experience. And I just love her how she reassured Prong that there's nothing between her and Tita other than just friends. Now that I'm thinking about that, I do wish that we saw more of Tita and Prong just being sisters throughout the entirety of the series, to be honest with you. We see them interact at the Freshie contest. We see them have their moments in the Love Senior special episodes. And we see Tita tutoring Prong and Belle and their friends a little bit. And that's really about it that I can think of. They probably are the siblings in TGL that interact the least. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, but it's fine. That doesn't dock it down any points. It's just something that I noticed. As for Now and Gio, if it wasn't a marriage proposal that Now was planning that whole time, I probably would have been a bit more upset with her for keeping things from Gio, such as that ridiculously lame rule that Puris supposedly had for her workers. I'm really interested. What was that dude's name? P. Crit, I think is what his name was. I think that P. Crit and P. Puris are maybe in a friendship relationship, judging by how he put that jacket on her at the end. That's my best guess. But Puris was obviously in on that whole proposal thing with Now the whole time. But that makes me curious if Puris only agreed to hire Gio so that Now could do that proposal to her. Which, if so, I didn't like how Now was able to get Gyo hired in the first place. I feel like Gyo should have applied there herself and proven that she absolutely deserved to have a job there rather than her girlfriend doing it for her. But it all led to an amazing proposal. It was very beautiful and a very thoughtfully love made one too. So I'm really all right with it. I wasn't expecting that Now was actually the one playing guitar and singing. I thought it was a backing track or maybe something on speakers overhead. But to see that she was actually the one playing and singing, it was almost like she was just, I don't know how I want to say it, inviting Gio or just projecting her voice to Gio rather than doing it artificially or through a secondary source. It was her herself, and that's the way that I see it. So I'm really happy with it. Overall, Love Senior, I'm quite happy with it, despite that my rating for it is lower than my first time watching it. Again, I gave it an 8 out of 10 the first time, and this time I'm giving it a 7.71. So it is a little bit lower for me. The first time watching it, I was not nearly as pissed off and annoyed at this series as I was the first time that I watched it. I wasn't as pissed off and annoyed as I am this time. Mainly just with Tarn and Pure and the like Now and Gio's immaturity. It's so annoying. I hate it. I hated those moments so much. If oh my god, like if if the good and bad was split directly half and half, it would have been a lot harder for me to digest. That's all I'm going to say. Unfortunately, this is the only Star Hunter Entertainment GL that we will see in this rewatch for genuinely roughly a year almost, because that's how many GLs are in between Love Senior and My Only Sunshine, according to my calendar, which the calendar that I have made, which is linked on the YouTube and Spotify page, it shows the order of all Thai GLs that I will be going in for each week, and also separates part ones and part twos for each series. And this is in perfect, absolute release order. If you have any questions of if this series came out before this one, if this one came out before this one, the calendar is in absolute perfect release order. I am 110% sure of it. And I have every Thai GL that I will be rewatching listed up until the start of the 2026 series, because at this moment, I'm not entirely sure of how I want to navigate the Four Elements saga. And the reason behind that is because obviously there are four different Four Elements shows: Earth, Water, Air, and Fire. But they didn't all release at the same time. There were so many GLs that released in between the release of the Earth and the Water. There were like at least 9 GLs that released between the release of the Earth and the release of the Water, and even more between the release of the Water and the Air. So this is what I'm confused about, and I'm yet to determine this. I have plenty of time before I need to finalize on this, but do I watch the Four Elements shows week by week, meaning one week I will start with the Earth, then the next week will be the Water, then the next week will be the Air, and the next week will be the Fire, and then I jump all the way back to the start of 2026 with Be My Angel and continue on from there? Or do I watch all of the GLs, including the Four Elements saga, in perfect release order like I have been doing? If that would be the case, then the 2026 GLs would go from the Earth to Be My Angel to I Want to Be Suptar, Frozen Valentine, Heart Code, Play Park, My Only Sunshine, Shock Me Girls, Girl Rules, and then I would get to the Water. Now, the benefit of doing it that way would be it would build anticipation for me and for y'all. So once it happens, we could be satisfied and fully give our thoughts on it. But at the same time, watching all four of the Four Elements shows in 4 weeks could be a really fun conclusion, because we've like the Four Elements saga has been spread throughout this year from January 24th all the way through August 29th is when the Fire will end. So it's over half a year. So I'm not sure of which way I want to do it. It's the same amount of time either way. I just don't entirely know how I want to navigate it. But other than that, every single TIGL that is listed on the calendar is in perfect release order, even if one TIGL released just one day before another one did. For example, Love Design released one day before Player. It still counts. It still came out before, so I'm counting it before. This calendar is in perfect release order. It has all TIGLs on here. I'm really excited for this. It's going to take a very long time, but it's going to be worth it. With that said, I want to move on to the OST of the series, and this was both easy and difficult. Easy because there is really only one answer, both logically and quite genuinely, literally. It's an obvious answer, too. So without any further ado, here is the OST of the series for Love Senior. Nung Song Sam. The OST of the series is You Get Lucky, performed by Cosmos. Not only was this the opening credit / title card song for 2/3 of the series, meaning the base series and not the special episodes, but it was also very often heard in the background of the episodes, either as an instrumental version or just the lyrics for some Now and Gyo kisses. Around the time that the special episodes came out, there were 3 new songs that came out from Star Hunter. A single for both Anda and Lukyu separately, and a duo song for both of them. Lukyu's single, called In My Mind, was the opening credit OST for the special episodes, so I almost considered that one. And honestly, the lyrics of In My Mind are the only lyrics that even a little bit make sense for the world of Love Senior. There is absolutely no part of You Get Lucky that makes any sense for the show or Now and Gyo's relationship or anything regarding Love Senior. But it was the official OST of the series and the song heard most often, so I had to choose it. I almost thought about the song that Now sings for the Freshie contest, but the qualifications just weren't there to consider it. And this is one of those cases with the OST of the series that there was only one option, and the option is not even a good one because it means nothing in regard to the series other than that it was the official one and it was just played the most. But I had to choose something. Something interesting about Cosmos, it's the girl group that performs the song of it. All of the girls are managed under Star Hunter Entertainment, and 3 out of the 4 GL couples from Star Hunter are part of Cosmos. The last couple, only one of them is in Cosmos, and the other partner is not. Anda and Lukyu are both in Cosmos. Noon and Prewa, who play Warang and Prong, they are in Cosmos. Devi and Jenny are in Cosmos. They were the second couple in My Only Sunshine. And the last couple is Adam and Mercedes, but only Adam is in Cosmos, and Mercedes is not, but personally, I feel like she should be. The other Cosmos members, in case you're wondering, are Scene, Som, Pam, Bua, and Pin, all of whom appeared at one point or another in Love Senior. So that is Love Senior rinsed, very dry. I am so done with that series. I want to move on. This has been over half an hour of recording just for Love Senior alone. I wanted to take my time on it genuinely because I just wanted to be so done with it. The ending of the base series pissed me off so much more than I thought that it would, and I'm very sad about that. But I have other things to talk about. I don't want to just talk about Love Senior for this entire episode. So let's move on to the currently airing segment, which there's not really a whole lot of currently airing shows. We got the first 2 episodes for My Lady's Bodyguard, which is the 3rd Ormfolk series. It is produced by Kongthop Production, and previously Kongthop has produced Apple My Love, Your Apple, and Shadow of Love. Shadow of Love came out earlier this year. And now we have My Lady's Bodyguard. I didn't know if it was going to be proper full-length episode format or if it was going to be short episodes again. It is short episodes. However, the production value, thank God it is here. Because if it wasn't, I would be very, very nervous for it. The first 2 episodes were more or less enjoyable. I liked them. I had fun with it. I'm still waiting for stuff to happen. I'm not at the point where I can remember characters' names. I think Orm's character is named Kale, and Folk's character, I don't know. She's like the daughter of some important royal person or something. Truthfully, this reminded me a lot of Mulan because Orm's character Kale was in a village pretending to be a guy, tying her hair up, kind of dressing like a guy with a fake mustache and everything. So it just weirdly reminded me of Mulan for that moment, up until obviously Folk's character came in and was hiding from her dad and the guards and everything. I'm interested to see the point when they will fall in love, but for now, I'm going to keep an open mind with My Lady's Bodyguard. I wasn't expecting this series to really come out. We kind of got the announcement of this series out of absolutely nowhere. But what's really fun about My Lady's Bodyguard is that it's very, very Thai traditional. Like, other than hometown romance, this is probably one of the most traditional settings that we have seen in a Thai GL, which is kind of a breath of fresh air. I'm going to be perfectly honest with that. I'm kind of tired of seeing so many GLs take place in Bangkok or something. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it. Next is a series that I have not talked about a whole lot. So, I'm going to try to be as in-depth with it as possible. Chasing Love. We got episode 5 this week. And I've not talked about Chasing Love really in any capacity because truthfully, I'm just not a big fan of this series, but I do know that a lot of people love it. So they do deserve for me to talk about it. But fair warning, I am going to be fully honest with my opinion of the show so far, and spoilers ahead if you have not seen it yet. So, first of all, with the grandma, I don't mind her as much as with the grandma from Gap, for example, because this grandma is not homophobic, but she is an elitist. I was hoping that she would change her way of thinking after seeing Song's presentation for the competition, but unfortunately, that did not happen. I think that having three couples is a little too much because there's always one couple that gets hardly any screen time, and it's one of the two side couples. Usually, it has been Pimud and the other girl whose name I forget, but they got a fair amount of time in this episode, but we didn't see much of Ploy and People, which was honestly a good change of pace. But my question at this point is where the fuck is this series even going? I mean, we have gotten total jack shit in terms of development and progression of the romance. I hope to hell that we get a lot of romance progression in the next episode because holy shit, Song pisses me the fuck off. Why won't she let herself love Pyong and accept her feelings? It reminds me a hell of a lot of Kunung, which is ironic because I'm watching Blank for the second time ever this week because that's what it's next on the rewatch calendar. It's the first 2024 series. But back to Chasing Love, I feel really bad for Pyong because she doesn't deserve any of this. She is putting herself out there full forthright and she's getting her heart ripped out of her chest time and time again. I think she's actually my favorite character in this whole series, to be perfectly honest with you. The moment of her and Song in bed together at the end of last episode was really fun, and I really liked that. But I think my favorite couple is Ploy and People. I love how they take care of each other. And truthfully, I know why I'm not liking this show as much as other people, and it's because we are getting nothing. Absolutely nothing. And if you disagree, I'm sorry. You are just wrong. Anyways, moving on. We got episode 2 of In Love Forever, and I still am loving this series so much. I never once expected that I would love this series as much as I do. I wouldn't call myself a Ling Orm fan specifically, but I don't hate them. The Secret of Us, I gave it a 6 out of 10 the first time I watched it, and Only You, I gave a 7 out of 10. In Love Forever, I would be, if it keeps going like this, and if it gets even better, I'd be genuinely shocked if I gave it anything below an 8 or a 9, truthfully. Because what's there to not talk about this series? I noted a couple things for Chasing Love and My Lady's Bodyguard, but for In Love Forever, I'm going to really try hard to not pre-note anything and just raw dog it for this recording. but I'm struggling to think of what to say because truthfully, there is so much to talk about it. Seriously, I don't even know. With In Love Forever, I kept an open mindset of what to expect, and truthfully, I still am because I have said this many times. I don't trust Channel 3, but I just never imagined I would be this entertained by In Love Forever. Episode 1 was spectacular, and episode 2 only builds on it. Not once in either episode was I skipping through scenes or reaching for my phone until a scene that I didn't like was over. I don't even care about the Lingorm kisses because that's not the fucking point. Yes, Lingorm can't kiss. Get over it. I have. And now I'm enjoying this series a whole lot more than ever. If it, like, if Lingorm do figure out their kisses by the end of it, this series might possibly go into my top 10, but I'm not going that high yet. Um, I'm going to be hitting The Secret of Us actually on my rewatch calendar in about 4 to 5 weeks. So I'm going to keep a completely open mind going into The Secret of Us. I'm not going to be thinking about In Love Forever at all. I'm not going to be thinking about the other series. I'm just going to be thinking, oh, cool. This is a TGL I've not seen before. The Secret of Us. Let's see what it's about. I'm going to act like I've not seen it before. No matter what happens, I will not skip any scenes, no matter how much I might want to. But back to In Love Forever. The series also just looks freaking great. The lighting is absolutely god tier, and the aspect ratio is amazing. I love that they have started accepting also that Orm is just taller than Ling Ling and not trying to alter Ling Ling's height to make her taller just because she's the top in the ship. The drunk scene was also just really hilarious and pleasant because Neen still loves Runch so fucking much, but she loves herself more, and she knows that she will go down a bad path if she stays near Runch's mom. She doesn't want to divorce, at least not truly, but she just loves herself too much to let herself be unhappy because of Runch's mom. I just wish that Runch had a fucking backbone and would just go tell her mom to fuck right off. Like, she injured her wife. What's the excuse or punishment for that? Like, just come on. Still, though, I can't say how much I love this show already. When the episode came out on Friday, I was waiting by my computer, just reloading until the episode popped up. The only other GL that I have done that for this year was Hometown Romance, the third series from my favorite ship, Look Me Insomnia, and The Water, which is my favorite series of this year so far and went into my top 5 Thai GLs of all time. With that said, let's move on. The Air had episode 7 yesterday as of recording this, and I did get some stuff spoiled for me. I know that it wasn't actually Blue that got shot and that it was Helena. I wish that we would stop spoiling stuff from the novels because it really ruins the experience for many of us casual GL fans. Well, I'm not casual. I'm pretty hardcore, but just disregard that. I'm pretty sure that I probably would have figured it out that it wasn't Blue anyways just by looking at things. The ending of the episode is the only thing that I just didn't really like, and it's not part of like what Grace did or Helena getting shot. It's really just that the police were there and did absolutely nothing. They let Lom get shot and they let Helena shoot Blue, quote unquote. They had absolutely no purpose in the story. It was just annoying to see. But that's really the only part that I didn't like. I love that we got Grace's backstory, and Veronica is such a great actress. She was in Poisonous Love previously, and I liked her in that. But man, she has been shining in the air so much. I love her character. I love what her character goes through. I love her arc. It's amazing. Her character was wonderful. Still, I don't think that the Air is my favorite Four Elements GL. I'd be genuinely surprised if it gets a 9 out of 10 from me. But if the last episode is somehow just wicked, wicked good and it makes up for everything previously, it just might be my favorite one. The last GL that we have currently airing for the weeks is Enemies with Benefits. We had Enemies with Benefits episode 9, and I gotta tell you, Korn might be one of my top villains in a Thai GL ever. He might beat he might beat Kay from Clarabelle. He might beat the grandma from Gap. He might beat Ek from Affair. He might beat Rashen from Harmony Secret. He might beat Air's mom from Roller Coaster. I don't know if he beats Prem's parents from Poisonous Love, but he is one of the worst villains I've ever seen in my life. Like, the actor who does him, he's doing it so good because I want to punch a hole through my computer screen every time he pops up. He, oh my God, what's there to not say about him? He constantly harasses Lal and Wine. The meeting room scene when Lal was being interrogated for having a relationship with Wine and Korn being all defensive and using that cute, high pitched voice to sound like the victim. I've never wanted to slug a character or even an actor across the face as much as I did with him. Obviously, no hate goes towards the actor. He's doing a wicked, amazing job. But the character, oh my God, there is no good place in the world for men like that. That is exactly the type of men that make women afraid of us and that the whole kill all men thing started. Ladies, if you're listening to this, I genuinely apologize on behalf of my own gender for men like that. We're not all like that, I promise you. And he seems like the guy that would fetishize a queer relationship between two women. I'm perfectly honest with that. If Lau didn't come up like in her car and jump in the road, I'm guess like they were going to what, a love hotel or something like that. Korn would have assaulted and raped Wine 100%, 110%. I'm fully confident in that. I hate his character so much, but the twist that Medsai was the insider for New and that she was the one who told Korn about the relationship, I was so stunned. Like, that is genuinely impressive detailing that Lau just happened to glance at the screenshot from Wine's story. And I liked seeing her and Proud work together. I think that Proud secretly kind of admires Lau a little bit, even though she doesn't want to directly say it because she's still a little bit bitter over Wine. I wish that she would pay more attention to Tankwa, though, because Tankwa clearly overthinks a lot and is definitely overthinking this thing with Proud. It's just a thing, but the ending of the episode was just badass. I love Lal's confidence. I just love it. This episode was heartbreaking, but also at the same time a tad bit motivating because it shows resilience and it shows overcoming the bad things. One other thing with Medsai is even though Jamie as Medsai was not seen a whole lot throughout the series, she nails and eats down every scene that she is in. Jamie also has a role in Moonshadow, which is Emmy Bonnie's upcoming series. So I don't know what character she's playing in that, but I'm sure she's going to do great in whatever role it is. A lot of people have been petitioning for Jamie and Ern to get a GL together. Or, it's kind of been a throuple situation. People have been shipping Ern Piploy, people have been shipping Jamie Piploy, and people, personally, myself included, have been shipping Jamie Ern. Jamie went on a live stream and said that she considers Ern her best friend because of how Ern helped her through this difficult time in her life, which I think is really great to hear from her. Personally, I'm in favor of Jamie Ern getting a GL together only if they both want it. Jamie is a great actress, and from what I've seen of Ern, she's great too. So hopefully they do get one together if they want to. With that said, that really does wrap up the currently airing section. We don't have a whole lot. And once Enemies with Benefits ends, we're going to have AI Girl to replace it. But we don't know what's going to happen like past the end of the summer because Fire ends on August 29th. And In Love Forever and My Lady's Bodyguard ends the week after that. And Chasing Love only has 3 more episodes. It ends on episode 8. So we might be we might be entering the second TIGL drought. The first one was at the end of 2025 going into 2026. We might be entering the second one for the like later half of 2026, like September, October area, which would be pretty sad to see. That'd be very soon. But personally, for me, I am honestly very happy that we are seeing fewer GLs right now than in early 2026. And moreover, they are quite high quality ones overall than what the early 2026 GLs were. And what they, it was, how do I want to say this? The early 2026 GLs, what they were missing is the time spent to make it as perfect as possible. And instead, they were rushed out. We had 15 GLs in early 2026 alone, and it got really, really hard to keep up with and watch all of them. At one point, we had Girl Rules on Monday, Shadow of Love short episodes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We had My Only Sunshine on Wednesday, Frozen Valentine on Thursday. We had Play Park, Heart Code, I Want to Be Soup Tower, and Be My Angel on Friday, and then Broken of Love and Four Elements on Saturday. That gets so hard on your mind and memory to keep up with everything, and I would know because I did it. I watched all of them all the way through, even the ones that I didn't like. Talking about you, Be My Angel. But I do love that we are getting just more high quality ones, but fewer overall. I don't want 9 or 10 of them in one week. I just want 4, maximum 5 really high quality shows coming out. That is it. That is all that I can ask for. That is all that I want. That's pretty much all that I've got for you this episode. I didn't get to a news segment because, well, truthfully, there's just not a lot of stuff happening. There was some controversy with the director of In Love Forever. Charlotte was at the Supergirl premiere in Thailand. We got a possible first poster for Please Love. It might be a fan made one, it might be an official one. We got some confirmation that the Dangerous Queen special series is coming out this year for sure, but the actual date is not confirmed yet. I will you know, yeah, nah, this is a GL podcast. I was thinking about talking about Charlotte and Orm at the Supergirl premiere in Thailand and trying to segue that into my own personal Supergirl experience. But since this is a Thai GL podcast, I'm going to save that for my TikTok, which Supergirl has been being ripped apart by reviews very unjustifiably. So if you want to see my thoughts on Supergirl, go to my TikTok and you'll see my thoughts on Supergirl for there. But with that said, it is time to move on to the next series, which is beloved by some, controversial by others. And I am definitely going to take a lot of time with it next week because the next series on the list is Blank.